And we're back.
The law is clear. When the seventh seal is broken, 4 horsemen shall ride forth to punish the wicked. Be they sons of men, lords of heaven, or the dregs of hell. All upon the earth will be judged, and the pact forged anew. You forget your post, horsemen. You forget the law. No call was given, yet the destroyer marched, and there you were found, under his black banner, if the claims are true.
To hell with your claims. The seals were broken. I was summoned.
Then where are the other horsemen? Were they not summoned as well? The 7 seals are hidden, as they have been since the pact was forged eons ago. All of them intact. There was no call. You aided the Dark Ones, broke a sacred covenant that has doomed mankind, and threatened the balance. Do you deny it?
When I rode, heaven and hell were already at war. Abaddon was there. He knew something.
Abaddon fell, fighting off the chaos you unleashed.
I fought powerless against the demons, and still you accuse me?
Your defeat proves nothing. Likely the Destroyer cast you aside when he was finished with you. You have defiled the law, horseman. You will be punished.
I serve only the council. Only the balance, as the horsemen always have. Send me back. I will punish the ones responsible.
How? What hope do you have against the Destroyer's armies? You are powerless.
Then I will fail, and the demons will have carried out your sentence.
Very well. You will return to the earth, but you will be watched. Come forth.
Remember that, or I will really get under your skin.
Rise, war, and arm yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Darksiders Let's Play. This is Sgt Neutral reporting for duty, and, thank you so much for continuing to watch this little... drop the mic. This little Let's Play of mine. Let's see where it goes. So basically, what we've just seen here is that, war is really no longer...
Angry blade thirsts for destruction.
Sorry about that. Completely forgot about that cutscene. So basically what we see here is that we really do realize that, as it was explained in the first episode, that this council, the Charred Council, is really sort of the supreme beings. They're the ones that call everything out. They make sure the balance is unchanged, and war apparently went in without the call. So they're trying to figure out what's going on, and this is really one of our first glimpses into the lore behind this video game. So, and of course, I must say that as we're going to get to know really quickly, is that the Watcher is played by the one, the only Mark Hamill, and he really brings this great kind of character to the Watcher, which is supposed to be, it could have been a completely flat just a Navi clone, but now it's really sort of Navi meets the Joker. And it's really just a wonderful, in my mind, sort of combination, because it brings a certain amount of humor, no matter how dark it is, to this really bleak world. Okay, so now we're basically they're giving us sort of the basics that we need to
The souls of
master.
the dead will be your currency. Some enemies are more easily bought than killed.
So here we are, mapping consumables and wrath. So this basically, it's sort of, I hate to keep comparing it to Ocarina of Time, but I will because it's the most readily available example in my mind. This is sort of the C-stick availability. So, these are sort of they're your wrath power, so they're sort of your win buttons. And you'll see as the game goes on, this is my favorite, this geyser of blades. Because it's really sort of, if you ever feel too claustrophobic, too cramped, or if, they're really kind of swarming you, you drop this, and what it doesn't kill, it will at the very least throw way, way back. So here's the weapon forge. As you see, there's a bunch of enhancements here that we're going to be able to pick up throughout the course of the game, and as well as a couple legendary enhancements. These are very difficult, but they're a hell of a lot of fun, as well as these will be where your 3 primary weapons go. Artifacts are basically the collectibles of the game. As you can see, you've got 20 of these soldier artifacts here on both sides. Then you have I forget what they're called, but they're the Uber Soldier. And then finally you have the Overlord. And the Overlord, there's only one in the game, and it's extremely difficult to find, but once you find it, it really provides a lot of benefits. So that's sort of basically the whole outlook of it. And so now we're going to really just jump into this world. And here we go. So souls, basically, as they said, are the currency in the game. Blue is currency, green is health, and yellow is wrath. Wrath recharges things like the blade geyser. Health makes sure you don't die, so it refills the skull containers. And currency, well, we will quickly see what the currency is worth. It's basically for the merchant in the game, Vulgrim, that we're going to meet. I think in this episode, maybe the next. He's the one that's going to be selling you all of your sort of power-ups and things like that. So, as you saw, the Blade Geyser, for the moment, it's only level 1. Vulgrim's going to be the guy that levels it up to level 2, 3, and 4. So, there we go.
Seek the demon Vulgrim. Few can afford his services, but perhaps you can strike a bargain.
The Council confers with demons now, does it?
Since the truce was broken, some demons have fallen from the Destroyer's favor. Vulgrim is one such outcast. He has long sought an audience with us.
How long have I been here?
Looks like our trajectory was a little off. Not so fast, horseman. Let's lay down a few ground rules. Until this is over, you're a dog on a leash. I say bark, you bark. And if I have to kick you, you'd better not bare your teeth. Understand? Or should I teach you to play dead?
And so here we go. The game's really properly begun, ironically enough, in a Seraphim hotel. And so this is also where we're going to be meeting sort of our principal enemies for the beginning of the game. So summon the Watcher by pressing and holding the select button. So
The council ordered you to seek out Vulgrim, so start seeking.
really does bring that Joker-esque humor and personality to the character. I really enjoy it. So here we are. As you can see, things have gone pretty poorly for, you know, the human race. And so, once again, just talking about really just the risks and the balls that this video game takes, they start off with the extinction of humanity. So that's a thing that you don't see too often.
Here comes the welcome party. War, why don't you introduce yourself?
So funnily enough, the main enemy for the beginning of the game is us. That's the Blade Geyser. Sorry, I kind of, you know, popped that off a little too quick. It was more of a trying to get my bearings and things like that. So, you know, to really activate your Wrath powers, you hit left sorry, I've just been playing a lot of computer games recently, so left mouse button, left bumper to really pick them out, and then, as you can see, Y, those crystals regenerate your health, and wherever you put the powers on sort of the Chaos Wheel there, you are, you know, you have to press that button for whatever power you want to use. So, you know, the main enemies are us for the moment, so that's always sort of an interesting thing to keep in mind. These guys are extremely unpleasant, because as you can just see, they explode. They're sort of like these kamikaze-esque guys. And yeah, so basically, you know, gauntlet glow, press B, interesting things happen. That's what we saw at the beginning to sort of, you know, behead those demons that we were fighting. And it's sort of our finishing move, or the equivalent to do so. Don't worry, we'll always tell you when there's an action available. That would have been very unfortunate. So, yeah. Basically, RB also, while it allows you to dash normally, it also allows you to dash on these things. So, for instance, RB. There will be moments where this is critical, especially when it comes to sort of the later stages of the game. As you can see, I have descended down here, and we're really just going to be going into the real depths of the... I've completely lied. I've missed the door. Brilliant. So now we're going to be going more into the depths of the Seraphim Hotel, sort of our starter area. I'm an idiot. We're going to be going above. Up and out. Oh boy, boy, boy. Alright. This is where I do have to say I'm very thankful for how fast you can traverse these things in other games where these climbing mechanisms are used. You know, it's that really slow kind of whereas here they do give you the option. You can uppercut enemies in the air. Unfortunately, I've never found that terrifically useful. And you also have to be careful here, because as you can see, the bigger the guy, the harder they hit. That's sort of the rule of thumb for this place. And then when they do that, they explode. Definitely a thing to avoid. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten killed, and will probably be killed by now. Especially when it comes to the point where there's 2 or 3 of them, and you've been focusing one down, and you kind of forget about the other 2. So, you know, you kind of get lost up in the moment, you keep swinging, and then you completely forget that he's transmitting his kind of suicide bomb. And, you know, it explodes right in your face, ripping you effectively a new one. So here we go. These chests that you can see glowing green will have a ton of health in them, and they're basically sort of like these regen zones. And the ones that are yellow are the wrath refills, and then the blue ones are the currency ones. Of course, there are different ones, but I'm going to be talking to you about those later on, sort of when we really come across a couple. Once again, there are going to be... get used to these kind of push and drag puzzles, because there are going to be a ton of them. So here we are, making pretty good progress. Once again, this is also teaching you... it's making sure that you've really, understood what it was trying to teach you in the original kind of Apocalypse level. And, it's being gentle, as all good first areas are. These enemies, charming. You're going to get powerful to the point where you're going to be basically two-shotting, even sometimes one-shotting them, depending on how your loadout is. So basically, you're really just kind of trudging your way through here, following... Hello? There we go. I do have to say this game does have a little bit of an issue with some of those corners there. Right. And here we've got one of our kind of arena-esque battles. Though I do have to say this is probably the first kind of challenging one, because as you'll see, these are not all the enemies we're going to be dealing with. And another little tip is that when you're fighting horde, kind of like scattered, weaker enemies like this, I find it's often a lot better not to L-target, because if you L-target, you're going to be focused on one, and the other ones are going to be easily allowed to outflank you and just kind of come at you from all angles. Now this is really kind of one of our first kind of serious demons that we're coming across, apart from, Straga, the big guy, of course. But, yeah, so, as you can see, do not let him hit you. I'm going to be popping my little health crystal there. Some of you may disagree. Sorry about that. I get a little nervous, especially at these beginning stages of the game. And since I haven't played in just a little while, I'm probably going to be, playing a little more cautiously than I will towards the end of the series. So a lot of it, there's just, it's dodge, slash, dodge, jump, jump late. Alright, so that shows you that you really have to pay attention. And this is also going to be one of those enemies. This is not a boss. This is going to be one of those guys that you really just have to get used to fighting. Because he will... I won't ever say he becomes really a common enemy, but he becomes a lot more, unfortunately, popular down the road than others. And there will be days where, those guys come as a complete breeze. And, you may actually see me later on in this series get a little vindictive and go after them myself, even if there's no need to do with them to fight them whatsoever. So I may have to get a little quiet here, just because I'm going to be focusing. I'm sure you guys are probably going to be a little thankful for the quiet in a little bit. Bloody hell. It's to me, the side dodges are often the most useful, because they really get you the most... here we go. Another fun thing about this game is that when it comes to bigger enemies like that, your finishing move, I can tell you, is so gratifying, especially if that guy if that guy, you know, embarrasses you just like he did me. It really does feel good to take your time really ending them. So here we are, sort of going into this whole dystopian zone. And, you know, we're going to be getting, right out here, I believe, we're going to be getting our first glimpse as to really what's left of the human race, what we've left behind, apart from these desiccated cadavers and things like that.
How long was I gone?
In Earth years, about a century. Long enough for the last of the mouth-breathers to die off.
Then, the Third Kingdom is lost.
Subtle. I almost didn't hear you coming.
Vulgrim.
The Council finally took me seriously. If so, you're surely not empty-handed. For this shall be the briefest of introductions. There were a few young ones. Spectacular. You seek the power behind the one called Destroyer. You will find the answers and the font of his power there. Oh, such haste to die. You aren't even a shadow of your former self. You wouldn't last a heartbeat. Besides, the way to the tower is shrouded by demon magics. Even I do not know the way.
Who does?
Feed my hunger, and I'll feed your curiosity.
Well, here we are, guys. I think that's about it for this episode. We made some pretty good story progress. We've really jumped into the, you know, proper game. And we've met Vulgrim, one of the more colorful characters. And, you know, we've really sort of begun on this quest. So I do have to say, this is Sgt Neutral, signing off for now. Thank you, and see you next time.